All right, this is the next episode of True Wrestling Fan Discussions. Continue our retro pay-per-view review series. This is going to be WCW Superbrawl 6. I'm your host, Mike.
Frank, let's get into it. February 11th, 1996, St. Petersburg, Florida. 7,200 on hand for this one. We got the double cage main event. We got a strap match. We got two separate tag team title matches. What else have we missed? We got a TV title match that's got money up as well as the Diamond Doll. So here we go. We're going to start it off with a street fight match for this one. Tony Schiavone, Bobby Heenan, and Dusty Rhodes doing commentary on this one. I think Dusty used the word plunder repeatedly during this match.
These guys were kind of making fun of him about it too.
Yeah, they were. And then at one point, Dusty said something. They were like, Bobby, you got anything to say? He goes, wait, what? I think he paused out for a minute there.
He's zoned out.
But yeah, well, when Dusty starts talking and gets going, man, you don't know exactly what the hell he's talking about. But we got a street fight match between the Nasty Boys and Public Enemy. Now, it's not like the feud with the Harlem Heat, but Public Enemy was good nonetheless with the feud with them. Both teams were using chairs, getting tables. They were going all out for this one. Man, Rocco Rock, man, I guess he just loves going through them tables because either he's putting himself through it or the Nasty Boys are putting him through it. He just loves it nonetheless. Knobs threw Rocco Rock through a table. Sags is getting garbage cans. I mean, we're just doing everything. We're down. They're down by the I guess they were selling T-shirts right off the rampway there, the entranceway, because they even got involved over there. Johnny Grunge put Brian Knobs on a table near the entranceway. Rocco with a suicide dive off of you could say the stands, the first row of the stands over there. Knobs got out of the way. Rocco wound up going through the table himself. Go figure. And of course, Knobs gets the pin after he hits him with a piece of table just to make sure he's down. So the Nasty Boys get the victory on this one. And briefly after the match was over, they continued to fight. But this would have been good for a double ref because at one point when Knobs had the pin down there, the referee was with Sags and Johnny Grunge in the ring.
Yeah, would have
so there was nobody down there. But they didn't specify that this was a Falls Count Anywhere street fight match. They just said it was a street fight. So to me, that's okay. We're going to fight it out, but the count has to be in the ring. So following that, Mean Gene Okerlund interviewed the U.S. champion Conan.
The double champion.
Mexican World Heavyweight Champion too. He will be defending it in a rematch against the One Man Gang. Why?
Yeah, because he beat One Man Gang.
Everybody can beat One Man Gang.
One gang. So then
he's like 3 years past his prime at this point.
So Conan should be in line for a shot at the big gold belt, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't hold your breath on that one.
I don't know. At some point, they just kind of forget about it.
I think it was after they started doing once they stopped the top 10 countdown.
Yeah, it was probably around. Yeah.
Once the ranking system went out the door,
the
U.S. title #1 contender went out the door with it.
Which was always cool. That I enjoyed that the ranking system and the fact that the U.S. champion is the next in line.
Yeah.
But
I'm gonna say this: the one thing that similar to AEW does right now, and I don't agree with most of the things that they do. When they show the win-loss record, as far as singles, tag, trio, whatever, when they display that on the bottom when they're coming out, I do like that. So you see how good the wrestler's been for the year.
WWE is gonna start going to more of sports statistics.
I heard something about the ranking, the top 10 again.
They might do that, and they did something in the Royal Rumble where they had they were showing I think they were showing how many minutes somebody was in and stuff like that.
Yeah. Finally, they've done. I've been saying this for so many years that rather than
scoreboard,
just listen to them, exactly, just you listen to them. Oh, they're going on 20 minutes.
They're going
plus now.
They're going that direction, which is actually pretty cool. So
I really did enjoy that on this Rumble when they put that up there. That was really cool. Also, like the fact that the women's record was broken not once but twice in the same match. Once by a returning Naomi, and then Bayley gets the record. So congratulations to her. Unfortunate for Naomi, she just came back and it was already taken away from her. Next match on the card, we've got for the television title, not only the television title, but Diamond Dallas Page is putting up $6,600,000 of what's left of the money against the Diamond Doll. man, you got to stop betting, boy. It's just not working in your favor. So Paige came out with a bunch of roses, probably a dozen roses, just stolen from somebody.
No, Jesus Christ.
He tried to give them to Kimberly. She didn't want them, and at that point, Johnny B. Bad attacked him and started getting the upper hand in the match. During the match, Paige asked Kimberly for a 10 card, and she wouldn't give it to him. Matter of fact, she pulled out a 0 at one point. But when Johnny B. Bad was able to get the upper hand, she pulled out the 10 card for him. When he asked for her, she said, "I don't think so," which was pretty cool. Paige hit a flying DDT on Bad, and that would have been it for him. He would have regained the Diamond Doll and the title, but he was showboating. And that's when Kimberly pulled out the 0 card for him. And Paige went for a tombstone pile driver. Bad reversed it into his own, and he got the pin. So now DDP's out the last $6.6 million that he had. The check was given to Johnny B. Bad, who in turn gave it to Kimberly, saying, "This is not my money." She's all there blushing and whatnot. And Johnny B. Bad keeps the television title. Oh, by the way, there's a title on the line here, not just the money, because that's all they wanted to talk about.
Pretty much, yeah.
I got to ask a question. Which gimmick was better when it came to the Diamond Doll? The Booty Man or Johnny B. Bad? I got to go with Johnny B. Bad. Because when the Booty Man came around, there was just something wrong with that. It just didn't feel right. Mr. Recyclable Characters. Following that, Mean Gene Okerlund interviewed Harlem Heat because they're up next. And the winners of the tag team title match will face the Road Warriors later on in the evening.
Which isn't fair, because why are they they have to fight 2 times? And this stems from what happened on Nitro with the whole Luger cheating and Legion of Doom Road Warriors demanding a shot at the title on this night, and they just gave it to them. If they wanted to be fair, they should have had the Legion of Doom Road Warriors wrestle somebody else first.
Or even, like I had said on the review, make it a triangle match.
Yeah, so
let all three teams have a beef with the other one. Let them all go into the ring and put it out. Yeah. But you're right. If they're going to do it this way, then the Road Warriors should have fought somebody like the American Males.
Right, at least,
because they're going into with a huge upper hand.
Yeah.
And the longer the Luger and Sting match goes, the more of a benefit it is to the War Warriors. Yeah. In Sting and Luger's defense, the match went less than 12 minutes. Thank God. Now, during the match, again, supposedly now Sting had told him, if you want to fight dirty, you can defend the tag titles yourself. Somewhere between Nitro and WCW Saturday Night going into Superbrawl, they got back on the same page, and Luger had understood. So Luger made the tag to Sting at this point, but the referee didn't see it. And at this, Sting was now taking a page out of Luger's book. He just didn't care. He came in and started wrecking house. You're not going to let me in. I don't care. He went up against Booker T and just they went. He had at it. He had the upper hand against Booker T until he went into the rope and Stevie Ray had pulled the rope down. So now Sting's out of the ring, which means Luger's still technically the legal man in the ring. The referee was distracted at this point with Booker T and Sting on the outside when Animal came down with Hawk and hit Stevie Ray with looked like a piece of lead, something similar to Monday Nitro. And Hawk got the ref into the ring, and Luger was just flopped over on Stevie Ray because he was out of it at this point. They probably just about had the match won, but the Road Warriors have an agenda on this night. Now they don't want to face the winner; they know who they want to face. So Luger and Sting get the victory over Harlem Heat thanks to the Road Warriors. And after the match, Mean Gene Okerlund interviewed Sting and Luger. Sting, of course, now having no recollection of anything that happened. He's like, we're on the same page. Yeah, let's do it. Woohoo. Oh, my, you poor, poor simpleton. So, in any event, the next match on the card for the United States title will be Conan defending in a rematch with the One-Man Gang. Now, during this match...
The funny thing about it is this. Conan eventually joins the Dungeon of Doom. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh yeah.
So
and then he got fed up and he took it out on Hugh Morris.
Yeah. And he goes to NWO. Then he ends up in the.
He was with everybody. He had a little piece of everything going on.
Yeah, but there he is.
But during this match, Tony Schiavone had mentioned that Kevin Sullivan had gone overseas and acquired Loch Ness for the Dungeon of Doom. Do yourself a favor. You should have kept him over there.
Come on, man. It's not he was already broken down physically by the time he got here. That's the problem.
I know.
He was a legend over there in the UK. It's just that by the time he gets here, he's already physically compromised, so.
And we will see Loch Ness on this evening.
Unfortunately.
I know. Now, during the match, One Man Gang hit his 747, went for the pin, but he pulls Conan up. Now, we saw this with DDP earlier when he hits a move that could get him the victory and a title. The showboating starts in. One Man Gang started the showboating against Conan.
Not smart.
No, it's not, and especially against Conan, because Gang missed a splash off the second turnbuckle. Conan to the top rope, hit Gang with a cannonball off of there, and he got the pin. And Conan keeps the United States title over the One Man Gang. Thank God. I did not want to see that man with the title again. Now, following this, Mean Gene Okerlund interviewed the Road Warriors, who are now pumped because they get their revenge against Sting and Luger. That's stemming from the previous Nitro when Luger hit the
I don't know why
Animal with it, and they kept the tag titles.
I don't know why they put him with the red shoulder pads here.
I know. I
like the blue. Yeah, it was
maybe because it's a pay-per-view.
I guess, but I was
loving the blue.
The blue was cool because it was something different. It's like, okay, now they're in WCW, so it's something like it's a WCW thing that they have the blue on. That's how I looked at it at least, because I always recognize the red as WWF.
And I loved that one time they had the gold.
The gold, yeah, SummerSlam.
SummerSlam '92. I love that gold. That was something cool. Different than the red.
I agree.
Our next match on the card, and this is probably my most favorite match of the night. I Respect You strap match between Brian Pillman and Kevin Sullivan. Now, mind you, this match went 96 seconds. Did he have an agenda going into this night? Was this all planned? Obviously, I don't think this was planned with Eric Bischoff.
No, supposedly it was a shoot. Yeah. Supposedly, but nobody really knows.
Not when it comes to Pillman.
Yeah,
because during the match, Pillman ran to the ring and began attacking Sullivan. These two guys have just an animosity between each other that just needed to get resolved on this evening. And Sullivan finally got the upper hand. When that happened, Pillman grabs the referee and grabs the microphone from him and says, and I quote, "I respect you, Booker Man."
Booker Man, yeah.
And left the ring. Kevin Sullivan's won the match. Now, Jimmy Hart comes back, this time with Arn Anderson, who's not even in wrestling gear. And all of a sudden, now we get an impromptu strap match between Sullivan and Anderson.
Yeah. The whole thing about the Booker Man thing was that it's Kevin Sullivan was the Booker. So it's like he's shooting on him saying Booker, and it's like, whoa, man, you weren't supposed to say that. So it was kind of like, whether it was a complete shoot or Sullivan knew, I don't know, but because I've heard conflicting stories on whether he knew or he didn't. But brilliant stuff by Pillman, brilliant stuff. He was awesome. The shame of it is he's not around much longer. But yeah, so Sullivan's dealing with Anderson.
So yeah, and they're going at it. And now all of a sudden, here comes Jimmy Hart bringing Ric Flair to the ring. Now, mind you, Ric Flair has a title match later. You could have brought Benoit or somebody. Flair. I don't understand bringing him out and putting him in a program earlier in the night when he's got a big steel cage match coming up later. But he came down and tried to end the match, and they said that their focus is elsewhere. It can't be here. Almost like an enemy and my enemy thing here. We've got to stick together. So the match, Flair did eventually stop all of it, and this impromptu match was pretty much a no contest. But once this finally, these two factions go to war, man, it's some classic stuff, man. If you guys have never seen on Nitro the Horsemen and the Dungeon going at it, man, this was something else. But I would have loved to see an outcome between Anderson and Sullivan in this match. I really did want to see that, but unfortunately they weren't going to. Why? Because Flair needs Anderson for later on. So following that, Mean Gene interviewed Jimmy Hart and the Giant. As the Giant's getting ready to take on the other Captain Crazy, Funny, however, that's the main event, not the
Yeah,
WCW title.
not the title, but
Because why? Because who's facing the Giant? Hogan. I have to limit my bashing on him. Some people have asked me to. I'll be nice this time. I won't bash him. Not yet until I get to the match. Then I'm not responsible. Next match on the card for the WCW Tag Team titles, we've got Sting and Luger one more time. This time against the Legion of Doom, the Road Warriors. And Luger he might as well painted a yellow stripe down his back, man. That punk. That kind of took away from this match that he was so scared that he kept leaving the
I don't understand why they were doing that.
I don't either.
Get it.
It took away.
It did. It did.
Not even a little bit of a respect thing.
Luger's not scared of anybody. Luger's.
No, and Luger's bigger than both these guys. I mean, if they want to fight, then fight.
Yeah, I don't get that.
I don't understand.
It was out of character. It was out of character for him. Yeah.
Exactly. When they finally ended all that nonsense, he finally got in the ring and the bell rang. These two teams went at it. You might as well have just made this a bona fide street fight as well, because it's what it needed to be.
Yeah.
Animal and Luger were fighting on one side on the outside, and then Hawk and Sting were on the other. The fight goes down towards the entranceway, and then this ends in a double countout, so nothing has been solved between the two teams. Although the only thing solved is that Sting and Luger fought twice tonight and kept the tag team titles in both matches. So congratulations to them. But the Road Warriors are not done with these guys. Mainly Luger, not so much Sting. They feel sorry for Sting because they've said that in interviews that he can't see what everybody else does when it comes to Luger. We've said it as well ourselves. So following that match, Mean Gene interviewed Ric Flair and Woman, and then of course interviewed Elizabeth and the Macho Man Randy Savage. And I did like the color scheme he had going there, a little bit of blockbuster flashback there. You got the yellow and blue.
Yeah.
Always good to see.
It's more of like a neon. This is more like a neon yellow though, but yeah.
Yeah, but he always had those the cool mix and match colors in the outfits, and this one was pretty good. Now, our next match on the card for the WCW title, once again, because we haven't seen enough of this in the last 2 months, especially on Nitro, the Macho Man Randy Savage defending the title against Ric Flair, who's attempting to become the 13-time world champion. So realistically, this would be 15 for him, because they're not counting the 2-time WWF champion. So this would make 15 total for him. But he's going in WCW an unprecedented 13 times, which is still very, very impressive.
Remember what Jericho used to say? He used to say was the 15-time loser? Was that what he used to call him? The 15-time loser.
The 16-time world champion, but the 15-time loser.
Yeah.
This coming from the 9-time Intercontinental champion, but the 8-time loser. Oh, we can use that on you too, Jericho.
Jericho's a legend too, though, man. Come on.
Oh, yes. I'm not taking anything away from Chris Jericho. In any event, before the match started, Flair asked Elizabeth to walk over and kiss a real man. How did we know that this was going to play a huge factor later on in this?
Well, remember, he had her before Macho Man. Remember
WrestleMania 8, the pictures,
the centerfold, and
the Hoosier Dome. Bobby Heenan's waiting for the centerfold to drop.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Shortly after the match started, Flair knocked out the referee. This was Flair pretty much telling everybody, I control this match. There's no disqualification. You're not going to tell me what to do. Now, mind you, he did this 6 days prior on Nitro in his match when he wouldn't release the figure 4 hold on Marcus Bagwell. So, and then of course, during the match, Savage applied the figure 4 leg lock on Ric Flair like he's done so many times. Flair gets to the rope, but it's a cage match, brother. Getting to the rope don't mean squat. But eventually the hold does break. Now, Savage went to the top rope, but this was pretty impressive. And I've said this so many times when Savage has been in a cage match, especially in the one that he was in with Hogan at Halloween Havoc. Well, when he drops down, when he does the double axe handle or whatever, the fact that he's not blowing his knee out when he gets all the way down there is amazing to me, especially at his age. And, I mean, this bothered me. I'm surprised he didn't come away with an injury. But Flair, when he was going off the top of the cage to hit a move on him, Flair did catch him, punching him in the midsection. Then Flair applied the figure four leg lock on Savage. By this point now, Flair was also busted open during the match, which
Yeah, of
is
course.
expected.
It's Flair.
It's Flair. It's a cage match. The two go together. Now Flair tried to escape two different occasions and two different times. We got to see the moon over Miami. We really didn't
Yeah,
need to
shit.
see that. You're not Shawn
That's what
Michaels.
Shawn Michaels. I was about to say that was something Shawn.
Please don't do it,
Yeah.
Flair.
Well, I don't want to see Shawn Michaels do it either.
No, no, but Shawn gets a bigger pop from the crowd than Flair
Because he was
does.
known for it, yeah.
Yeah. Savage went to pin Flair and got a 2 count. When the bell had accidentally rung, everybody thought the match was over, but they reiterated that no, it was a 2 count. The match is still going on. Now, a woman tried throwing some powder in Savage's face. It looked like she was trying to get a firebomb going there,
Mm-hmm. Trying to
but
pull Hogan.
couldn't. Yeah, and so she just threw it, but Savage threw himself down to where it wouldn't affect him. That's happening on one side. On the other side, what shocked me the most, Elizabeth giving Ric Flair her shoe.
Damn it.
Flair hits Savage with the shoe and gets the pin, and Ric Flair is now the
Yep.
WCW champion.
Elizabeth turned
Not
heel.
only with woman on his shoulder, but Elizabeth has turned on Savage.
Betrayed. We didn't see that coming. I mean, although we knew because of what happened on Nitro with her not warning Hogan about the attack from Flair.
Yeah.
And Macho Man asking her why didn't you warn him, and then Mean Gene, no, he did. She did warn. Bullshit. But prior to that, we didn't expect that. I mean,
no,
we're worried about Hogan.
Woman, I had the feeling.
Yeah, we're worried about Hogan having lust in his eyes, and here is Elizabeth. You know,
Elizabeth's got lust for Flair.
Unbelievable.
Now, after the match, Hogan came down with a chair.
Oh, of course.
Anderson
came down. He loves that chair,
man.
He loves that.
Oh, yeah, he loves this tag team partner. Hogan hits Anderson with the chair as they left the cage. Now, Mean Gene Okerlund interviewed Hogan after this match about Elizabeth. He did mention the real life split up from 4 years ago. Was it because of that? I don't know why she did this.
I was surprised that Hogan said that.
He added real life business to this.
Yeah, because it's not that's not something that a lot of people knew.
No, it wasn't out there like that. When they did the whole marriage gimmick in WWF, they were already separated.
Right. People didn't. The average person didn't.
She was managing him in '92. She was already divorced.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
But bringing that up here,
kind of weird.
I was just like, wow, what did you just do? Were you supposed to say that? I don't know.
I would like to think that he was supposed to say it. I don't think Hogan was just.
Yeah, me too. Go to business for himself.
Well, I mean, he has in the past, but something like that, I think he would have been scared that Macho Man would have whipped his ass.
Again. So, yeah. Now on to the main event, an unsanctioned steel cage match where the referee would be on the outside.
It's like Rocky IV, man. It's not sanctioned.
Yep. The only way you could get these two pretty much.
You got to get out of the cage to win, right? That was because there was no ref inside.
Yeah, you had to either escape through the door or over the top of the cage. Right. Hulk Hogan versus the Giant, conveniently being the main event.
Hogan won eye because remember he had gotten his eye damaged twice leading into this.
Yep. So. And the second time, Savage taking him to the hospital on Nitro and whatnot. So yeah, he's going into this match with a huge disadvantage. But you think that's going to stop him? And we're still going to do a ridiculous storyline? Absolutely not. Let's go. During the match, again, it didn't take long. Hogan was busted open during the match with the Giant. Now,
it was a fun match, though. I thought it was a fun match. I was entertained.
It was. Now, I've said before how many times that Arn Anderson has done something to Hogan and Hogan's no soul and got right up. Well, now the Giant choke slams Hogan, gets right up. Not right away, a couple of seconds after the fact, but he gets right up. Which I was like, oh, come on. You're going to no-sell that? Really? So he kept running Giant into the steel cage. I thought this thing was going to fall apart the way it was swaying back and forth, how they're just throwing each other into it. Once they stopped running back and forth into there, Hogan hit the big boot, the body slam, and the leg drop. 3 total leg drops. Jesus. But we're not doing a pin here. And honestly, I don't think he would have gotten the pin anyway. Giant got right up even with that one. So I was glad that finally somebody...
As Hogan was trying to escape, he gets up, right? That's what it is.
Yeah. I was glad to see finally somebody no-sell one of Hogan's.
I don't know why Hogan just didn't go through the door.
I don't know either. But Now, as both men were on top of the cage, chopping each other, the Giant fell. Hogan escaped from the cage. Hogan wins the match.
Hogan slammed him. That slam was actually pretty cool because he scooped him up all the way when
I
Hogan
just,
slammed him.
I started getting a little like enough is enough. Every time somebody big like him, when he hits the boot and they don't go down, and he goes to the crowd, I'm gonna slam him. I'm like, all right, dude, we know you can. Half of them jump into it anyway,
Yeah.
except Andre. But the interesting part of this night, of this match, was after the fact. This is where it gets totally ridiculous. Sullivan comes down, hits Hogan with the chair. Hogan got the chair away from Sullivan, and he got the two of them into the cage. He gets Sullivan into the cage. This is what he wanted, but the problem was he forgot that the Giant was still in there. So now he's got the two of them. You think he's in trouble, right? No. On top of that, here comes Ming, Barbarian, Hugh Morris, Shark, who we haven't seen in a while.
The whole dungeon.
One-man gang, Zodiac, all in the cage. And Hogan hitting all of
Destroys
them
all
with
of
the
them.
chair.
Destroys all of them. The entire dungeon.
Now, Giant and Sullivan had left at this point. Now Loch Ness is making his way down.
Right. And they're holding him back.
I don't understand why. You brought him out for the purpose of destroying Hulkamania.
I guess because they were scared.
Get him in there.
Since Hogan destroyed everybody, that he was going to destroy Loch Ness too. And they're like, whoa, we got to save Loch Ness for later on. So
yeah, so he can get buried later on.
I mean, he only has a cup of coffee there anyway, but.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah,
Hogan laid them all out, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, destroyed everybody.
I mean,
it gets worse when it's just him and Macho Man versus the Alliance
2 against 8. Oh my god!
The Alliance Den Hulkamania.
And you look what's at the talent that's in there, and these two guys beat up all 8. But this is worse. This is one guy
Hogan by himself. Yeah, this was.
And they're all standing there,
just taking the chair shots.
Boom, boom, boom. And then
that was Sullivan. Sullivan booked this. He had to book it to appease Hogan. That's how the story goes. That he had to appease Hogan, so that's why, you know.
And not to mention, there were times during the match where Hogan was being booed by the fans. We're still getting the boos.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So something's got to give. Luckily, it will. So the dungeon, held back Loch Ness, like pretty much like you said. We don't want to use him right now. Build him up before we bury him. So Hogan gets the victory, and it pretty much insults the entire Dungeon of Doom with this.
How are they a real threat?
They're not.
If anything, they should have left him laying there, and that's how the
it should have ended with that, with Giant and Sullivan standing over the body of Hulk Hogan, raising their hands like we've done it.
Right.
No, we're just going to make Hogan even stronger so that we're nothing.
I don't know. Anyway, I was still entertained by this pay-per-view, though. I didn't think it was bad. Yeah. I thought it was still fun.
It was good.
Some cool stuff in it. Love seeing the Road Warriors, Legion of Doom, back on a pay-per-view.
Harlem Heat, my favorites. Love the Page Bad feud
that
they have going on. Nasty Boys in a street fight, always a plus. Brian Pillman, 2 thumbs up on that one, brother. Flair and Savage, yes, once again, but with a certain twist.
Still Cage.
What we saw 6 days earlier with Woman, now we see with Elizabeth. Yeah. We did not see that coming. So same thing, but they added more to it, which made it more entertaining.
Even the main event was fun, even though besides the ridiculousness at the end, I was entertained by the main event. So
yeah, no, it was pretty good.
All right, well, that's our review. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. We'll see you guys soon.
Take care.